Assalamualaikum. My name Muhammad Afizan bin Nurisan. I'm third year student of HBP Construction Management. My metric number is 145710. I want to present about the pile foundation. So first of all, I want to talk about the definition of foundation. The foundation is the substructure that is in direct contact with the superstructure. This component transport all that life and other loads that pass through it to the underlying soil. This component transport all that life and other load that pass through it lying to the underlying soil. The foundation is built in such a way that the earth benefits. It is stressed to the limit of the safe bearing capacity. Any foundation failure leads to the collapse of the building structure. As a result, different building structure necessitates different foundation, such as shallow or deep foundation. Before deciding on a suitable foundation for the building structure, a geotechnical engineer examine- exam- examines the soil profile. Here are some of type of foundation that are commonly used for building structure, namely strip foundation, rough foundation, and pile foundation. In the form of strip foundation or in the form of strip foundation or strip footing offers support for linear construction such as a wall or a closely spaced column. It's utilized to support light structural loads on soils with suitable bearing capacity. The width of the wall determines the size and location of the strip foundation. Besides, mat foundation is another name for rough foundation. It extends across the entire structure, providing massive support for enormous structural loads. The overall weight is transferred from the building area to the entire floor area with a rough foundation. These phenomenon minimize the tension placed on the soil, lowering the risk of soil shear collapse. The last one is the pile foundation. Pile foundation are a type of deep foundation that can transfer large load weight from the superstructure to hard strata far below the ground. A pile foundation is made up of a deep, reinforced concrete column that hits hard rock strata far below ground level. So, type of pile foundation. There are three type of pile foundation. Firstly, driven pile foundation, cast in situ pile foundation, and driven and cast in situ piles. So I want to talk about the techniques of installation pile foundation in construction. The pile foundation installation procedure and techniques are just as crucial as the design process. Pile foundation can be installed using a pile hammer or a mechanized gear. To avoid damage the piles, installation method and equipment should be carefully selected during the design phase. If installation is to be carried out using the pile hammer, then the following factors should be taken in consideration, namely size and weight of the pile, driving resistance which has to be overcome to achieve the design penetration, available space and headroom on the site, availability of crane, and noise restriction which may be enforced in the locality. Installation of pile foundation. Piles are first cast at ground level and then hammered or driven into the ground using a pile driver. A pile driver is a machine that holds the pile vertical and hammers it into the ground. Blows are repeated by lifting a heavy weight and dropping it on top of the piles. Pile should be hammered out. Pile should be hammered into the ground until the refusal point is reached, which which is the point where a pile cannot be driven into the soil any further. The method of installation of pile is major consideration in the structural integrity of pile foundation. The driven pile method is an ideal option because it it least disturbs the supporting soil around the piles and result the in the highest bearing capacity for each pile. Since every pile has a zone of influence on the soil around it, piles must be spaced far enough apart from each other so that the loads are distributed evenly. Next, I will explain the failure factor of pipe foundation and construction of and the actual case of the failure that occurred a 13-story apartment building that was still under construction in the city of Shanghai collapsed. Pipe foundations are one of most popular options for heavy load structure and in cases where poor soil conditions are found at shallow depths, but the foundation of pile may fail for a different reason. One must take appropriate precaution before designing the foundation of the pile so that the possibility of such failure can be reduced. The causes of pile foundation failure are such as the implied load on the piles is greater than the design load. Based on the actual case of construction using foundation piles that took place in the 13-story apartment building of Shanghai, on the failure was due to error in construction and unstable ground conditions were the probable causes. Construction of building on soft ground will cause strong moving loads and the occurrence of collapse. So therefore the way to solve the problem of this case is to build the building in suitable place that have strong ground defense and install many piles foundation to provide support the structure. Thus it will reduce the collapse of tall buildings. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.